When you're going through a difficult time, you experience a range of emotions. I had just received a really tough 9-page email. An angry, harsh message that completely shook me. It was about finances, threats, and responsibilities. I thought we were just taking a temporary separation, working things out with a therapist, but this was a divorce. Felt like a total blindside. I found myself questioning everything. Who was this person I had spent so many years with? We had agreed to handle things amicably, yet now I had no idea what he was capable of. The email contained things I never imagined he would say, and that terrified me. When you're already in the dark, your mind starts imagining the worst. It's an incredibly scary place to be. You start asking yourself, what's next? What do I have ahead of me? Will I be okay? How will this impact my children? There were so many uncertainties, and that's what made it even worse. But through all of it, one thing remained clear. He is a good father. Not the most hands-on, but a good father nonetheless. There are different ways to be a good parent, and despite everything, I feel lucky my kids have him as their father. In that moment, I was speaking from my heart. Every decision I make, even in separation, is always with my children's best interests in mind. Still, the next day, I didn't feel great about what I said. It made me reflect on the situation differently. Had I been too quick to defend him? Was I trying to protect him when I should have been protecting myself? These questions haunted me, and I knew that navigating this situation would require a strength I wasn't sure I had yet. Was this the first time I received an email like that? God, yes. I had never received such a threatening message from him before. Sure, we had bitter arguments, heated text exchanges, moments of tension, but nothing like this. Never threats involving finances and custody. Never words so cold and calculated that they made me question everything I thought I knew about him. My biggest takeaway. My instincts are usually right. You have to protect yourself. If you don't make the tough decisions, life will make them for you. And desperation. It never leads to good strategy. I've learned that in business and in life. When you're in a desperate state, you're vulnerable to making choices that you wouldn't make otherwise. And that's dangerous. Sometimes you just have to believe people the first time they show you who they are. There's no need for a second warning. If someone threatens you once, take it seriously. Don't make excuses for them. Don't tell yourself it was just a bad day. Believe them. On a different note, I remember a moment with Reba. She made a comment about my son, saying he was weird. Caught me off guard. I found myself trying to make her feel better by joking that I had a weird one too. But later I thought, why did I do that? Why did I try to smooth over something that hurt me? Reba wasn't worried about how her comment came across. She even doubled down on it at Thanksgiving. But in reality, James is just his own person. He's creative, independent, and doesn't care what others think. And honestly, aren't we all a little weird? We go through life assuming we see ourselves clearly, but sometimes it takes an outsider's perspective to make us realize how others truly see us. It's humbling. It's also a reminder that people will have opinions about you and your family, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with them, and you certainly don't have to let them define you. Going through a divorce, your mind is consumed with survival. How am I going to be okay? I hadn't worked in 17 years, and I was panicked. I didn't know what he was capable of, and that uncertainty was terrifying. In the end, he did the right thing, but in the moment I was just scared. Scared of losing everything I had built, scared of not being able to provide for my kids the way I wanted to, scared of the unknown. Even my mother's reaction was about herself. Her first question wasn't about me, it was about who was going to pay for things. That hurt. I wanted her to focus on me first, but I understand now that she was probably afraid too. She was worried about her future just like I was worried about mine. Her delivery was harsh, but I know it came from a place of concern. When my dad passed, my mom had to ask herself, who's going to take care of me? And I think she saw my divorce through that same lens. It's old school thinking. She and my ex had a good relationship, much like PK and my mom did. And when I realized she was still talking to him, it stung. It felt like a betrayal, like she was choosing him over me. I had to have a long conversation with her to make her understand how much it hurt me. Loyalty matters. Really does. Then there was the Augusta trip. I only invited a few people, Garcelle and Kyle, for emotional support. It wasn't about excluding anyone. I just needed a calm space. I knew there would be enough emotional weight with my mother. I didn't want unnecessary drama. I get that Erica felt left out, but it wasn't personal. It was about who I felt safest with at that moment. In the end, not everything has to be a group event. We're not a school of fish. Sometimes you just need your people, the ones who will hold you up when everything feels like it's falling apart. Navigating these changes has been exhausting. I've learned more about myself in the past year than I ever thought possible. I've learned that I am stronger than I ever gave myself credit for. I've learned that I am capable of rebuilding my life, even when it feels like everything is crumbling around me. And most importantly, I've learned that the most important thing in life is to surround yourself with people who truly love and support you. People will surprise you. Some will step up in ways you never expected. Others will disappoint you in ways you never saw coming. But at the end of the day, your journey is your own. You have to make choices that serve you, that protect you, that allow you to move forward. I know this is just the beginning. There will be more challenges ahead, more lessons to learn. But I'm ready. Because through it all, I've realized that I am enough. I always have been. We all value open communication, especially when it comes to sharing important information. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to take in everything and maybe you can't always update the entire group right away. But if that's the case, it's better to just say so up front. The issue here is, we didn't know anything until Kathy told us. She mentioned something about Kyle, asking if anyone had caught up with her yet. Apparently, she's been busy, and it turns out she left with Sutton and Garcelle to Augusta. I had no idea they were even going. What bothers me is not being told directly. I'd rather someone tell me to my face that I'm bringing negative energy. Go ahead, say it. Dare you. But when it's left unsaid, that's when it gets really frustrating. To me, it's cowardly. Sure, maybe keeping it all quiet and letting everyone find out later wasn't the best approach. But to be honest, I didn't think it was necessary for everyone to be involved. It's okay if not everything needs to be a group thing. Not every trip or decision has to involve the whole crew. Let's be real, we're not a school of fish. We don't need to swim in one big group all the time.